What if I told you the number 7 could be yellow? Or that the sound of a trumpet could feel like a sharp triangle against your skin? For some people, that's not just imagination. It's their reality. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of synesthesia, a neurological trait that blends the senses and completely challenges our understanding of perception itself. That's a quote from the famous author Vladimir Nabokov. And for him, it wasn't just the letter A. Get this. He also described G as feeling like vulcanized rubber, and R as a sooty rag being ripped. And this is the part you really have to wrap your head around. For Nabokov and for people we call synesthetes, this isn't a metaphor. It's not poetry. It was his direct, unfiltered, and totally automatic perception of the world, a true blending of his senses. Now, you might be thinking this is some super rare, one-in-a-million thing, but it's actually way more common than you'd guess. Some studies suggest that up to 4% of the population has some form of it. Think about that. That's about 1 in every 25 people you know. Okay, so let's really get into it. What does it actually feel like to live in a sensory world that's so different from most people's? You know, this isn't some new phenomenon we just discovered. One of the earliest accounts we have is from the philosopher John Locke, way back in 1690. He wrote about a blind man who didn't just hear a trumpet, he perceived the color scarlet. So we have these amazing examples, but to really understand what's going on here, we kind of need a clear definition. What is synesthesia, technically? Okay, that's the textbook version, but in plain English, it's when one of your senses gets triggered and, like a chain reaction, it automatically sets off another one. So hearing a specific sound might make you see a specific color, or seeing a letter might actually make you taste something. It's a real cross-wiring in the brain. And it's not all the same either. Researchers usually break it down into 2 main flavors. You've got projectors, who literally see the color or shape out in the real world, like it's floating in front of them. And then you have associators, which is more common. They feel this super strong, undeniable internal link. They just know, deep down, that a trumpet blast is orange. Just listen to this incredible description from neurologist Richard Sidewick about one of his patients. It's not just a flat color. For this person, sounds create a dynamic, moving experience, like a personal fireworks show triggered by the sounds of everyday life. Amazing. And it turns out, synesthesia isn't just one thing at all. It's this huge, sprawling spectrum. So far, researchers have identified over 80 different varieties. So the most well-known type, the one you've probably heard of, is grapheme-color synesthesia. This is where letters and numbers just have their own built-in colors. For them, the letter A is always red, or the number 5 is always green. It never changes. Then you get into the really wild stuff, like lexical gustatory synesthesia. This is where spoken words have actual tastes. There's a guy, James Wannerton, who famously reports that when he hears the name Derek, he literally gets the taste of earwax in his mouth. I mean, can you even imagine that? The connections can go way beyond just color and taste, into really abstract things like space. People with number-form synesthesia, for example, have a mental map where numbers have specific locations around them. So for them, the year 1980 might feel like it's physically farther away and to the left than the year 1990. The variety is just astounding. You've got sounds causing physical sensations of touch. You've got mirror touch, where if you see someone get tapped on the shoulder, you actually feel it on your own shoulder. Some people even experience days of the week as having distinct personalities, like Monday is grumpy and introverted, but Friday is outgoing and cheerful. So all of this just leads to the big question, right? How on earth is this happening? What is going on inside the brain to make any of this possible? Well, the leading theory is something called cross-activation. The basic idea is that in synesthetes, there's a little bit of extra communication, some crosstalk between parts of the brain that are usually separate. So for example, the part of your brain that recognizes letters might have some extra neural connections to the part that processes color, causing them to light up together. All right, let's do a quick test. Look at this mess of 5s and 2s. Can you find the triangle that's made out of the number 2? Take a second. It's a bit of a hunch, right? You kind of have to scan through it. Okay, now here's the difference. A non-synesthete has to search number by number, which takes time. But for a grapheme-color synesthete, if their 2s are red and their 5s are green, bam, that red triangle just pops out instantly. It's not a memory trick. It's a real, genuine perceptual advantage.
So how do scientists know this is a real thing and not just someone with a really strong imagination? Well, they look for three key things. First, it has to be involuntary. You can't just decide to do it. Second, it's got to be consistent over time. If the letter A is read for you today, it'll still be read 20 years from now. And finally, the experiences are usually super vivid and easy to remember.
So, what does it all mean to live with this kind of perception? For our last section, let's take a look at how this hidden sense has actually shaped our world, from art to science. Now, this is really important to understand. Synesthesia is not a disorder. It's not listed in any medical manual as a problem. In fact, most synesthetes will tell you it's a gift, an extra layer of experience, a kind of hidden sense that makes their world richer. And you can see how this gift can fuel incredible creativity. Artists like Georgia O'Keeffe actually titled some of her paintings based on her music-to-color experiences. When you look at a piece like this, you can almost hear the music and the flowing shapes and colors, can't you? And the list of famous and accomplished synesthetes is just wow. You have writers like Nabokov, of course, but also groundbreaking musicians like Pharrell Williams and Billie Eilish, who use their ability to see colors and sound to build their music. Even the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman saw the equations he worked on in color. And that leaves us with one final big thought. Synesthesia proves that there isn't just one correct way to see the world. It shows us that our brains are capable of building these deeply personal, incredibly complex realities. So if our senses can be blended and rewired in such profound ways, what does that really tell us about the one single reality we all think we share?